NBA teams rarely bet on a 5'8" player, but Yuki Kawamura is proving them wrong. His speed, vision, and fearless play have turned him into a global sensation. NBA's shortest player is shattering every height stereotype. But what makes him special? How is he thriving against players nearly a foot taller? And most importantly, is Yuki Kawamura the future of basketball? In this video, we'll break down his journey, his impact on the game, and why he might be changing the NBA forever. If you think height is everything in basketball, Yuki Kawamura is here to prove you wrong. But before all that, here's your chance to make an assist of your own. Tap that like button, hit subscribe, and join the squad, because just like Kawamura, we're all about making the right plays. Now, let's get into it. The numbers are rewriting the rulebook on NBA scouting. In December 2024, Yuki Kawamura checked into a game against the league-leading Oklahoma City Thunder. It was supposed to be a garbage time. Instead, he dropped 10 points in 11 minutes, forcing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, arguably the best player in the league, to take notice. But this wasn't a one-time thing. In the G League, Kawamura is putting up 14 points and 11 assists per game. Numbers that aren't just impressive, they're historic. No player his size has ever averaged a double-double in G League history. Standing at just 5'8", he's slicing through defenses and delivering passes that leave defenders frozen. Most undersized guards rely on explosive athleticism. Kawamura relies on pure basketball IQ. His court vision is elite. He's finding passing angles that don't exist for most players and executing plays that make coaches rewind the tape in disbelief. In his last G League game, he had 16 assists. Not just routine dimes, but perfectly timed, high IQ reads that tore defenses apart. The Memphis Grizzlies knew what they were getting when they signed him. Before joining the NBA, Kawamura was already a legend in Japan's B League. He won MVP honors in 2023, leading his team with dazzling playmaking and an unmatched ability to control the tempo of a game. But it wasn't until August 3, 2023, that the world really took notice. Japan was facing Finland in an international FIBA competition. Finland had Lauri Markkanen, a 7-foot NBA All-Star who had just come off a 25-point-per-game season. But height didn't matter that night. Kawamura torched Finland, dropping 25 points and 10 assists, completely outplaying Markkanen and leading Japan to a massive upset. That performance cemented his status as a rising star, and it caught the attention of NBA scouts. But even with his growing reputation, getting a shot at the league was anything but easy. The NBA doesn't take chances on undersized guards. For every Isaiah Thomas who defies the odds, there are hundreds of players who never got a real opportunity. But Kawamura refused to let that stop him. The Grizzlies gave him an Exhibit 10 contract, essentially a training camp deal, with no guaranteed roster spot. But once he stepped onto the court in the preseason, it became clear that he belonged. He started small, getting limited minutes in the first few games. But then, against the Chicago Bulls, he got his chance. He played 24 minutes, dished out 8 assists, and controlled the offense like a seasoned veteran. Even though he only scored 2 points, his court vision and pace stood out. A few days later, he turned it up another level against the Indiana Pacers, playing 25 minutes, scoring 10 points, and dropping 7 assists. The Memphis coaching staff was impressed. He was raw, sure, but his playmaking was undeniable. His style of play is built for today's NBA. He's not the strongest, but he's smart. He doesn't blow past defenders with raw speed, but he controls pace better than almost anyone. 1 second, he's lulling his defender into a false sense of security, and the next, he's zipping past them for an easy layup or a perfectly timed assist. When the Grizzlies finally offered him a 2-way contract, it wasn't just a victory for Kawamura. It was a statement. The NBA had never seen a Japanese point guard like him. The fans knew it too. Every time he steps onto the floor, something incredible happens. Even on the road, crowds chant his name. "We want Yuki." This isn't just about one player. Kawamura is forcing NBA teams to rethink how they evaluate talent. For decades, scouts have focused on physical attributes, height, wingspan, vertical leap, but Kawamura is proving that skill, intelligence, and heart can override raw physicality. His effective field goal percentage, despite limited minutes, is higher than the #1 overall pick in 2024. That's not a fluke, that's a sign. His ability to adapt to different levels of competition is another reason he's special. The NBA is a completely different game from Japan's B League. The athletes are bigger, faster, stronger. The spacing is different. The defensive schemes are more complex. But Kawamura is proving that he can adjust. In every game, he's finding new ways to be effective. He's reading defenses better, making sharper passes, and getting to his spots more efficiently. Of course, not everyone is convinced. Critics point to his defense as a major weakness, and they're not entirely wrong. At 5 foot 8 inches, he'll never be a lockdown defender. He's giving up a significant size advantage every night, and teams will inevitably try to exploit that. But smart players find ways to compensate. He's already showing a knack for reading passing lanes, using his low center of gravity to stay in front of quick guards, and making the right rotations. He's never going to be an elite defender, but he's not a liability either. The Grizzlies understand that development takes time. That's why they're letting him dominate the G League instead of rushing him into a bigger NBA role. They know that the numbers he's putting up there are historic, and they want him to gain confidence before increasing his minutes with the main roster. But make no mistake, his time is coming. The comparisons to past undersized NBA guards are inevitable. Isaiah Thomas at 5'9" became an All-NBA player. Muggsy Bogues at 5'3" played 14 NBA seasons. But Kawamura's game is different. He's not just surviving in the NBA, he's changing how teams think about talent. Even WNBA star Caitlin Clark saw something special in him. After watching him play, she called him the Japanese John Stockton. It's a fitting comparison. Like Stockton, Kawamura isn't the most athletic, but he's a master at controlling the game. His basketball IQ, passing accuracy, and ability to make his teammates better are what set him apart. The NBA is evolving, and Kawamura is at the center of that shift. For years, the league prioritized height and athleticism, but as skilled-based basketball becomes more valuable, smaller guards with elite playmaking ability are finding more success. Kawamura represents the next step in that evolution. Beyond his personal success, his impact on international basketball is massive. He's inspiring a new generation of young players, especially in Japan, where basketball has traditionally been overshadowed by baseball and soccer. Kids who might have been dismissed due to their height now have a role model. They're seeing that skill and hard work can take you further than raw athleticism ever could. His journey is far from over. The Grizzlies are taking a cautious approach, but the flashes of brilliance are becoming more frequent. Every time he steps on the court, he does something special. A no-look pass that makes the crowd gasp, a step-back three that silences doubters, a game-changing assist that shifts momentum. This isn't just about one player defying the odds. It's about how the game of basketball is changing before our eyes. In an era where every team is looking for the next big thing, Kawamura is proving that sometimes the biggest impact comes from the smallest player on the court. The NBA is watching, fans are watching, and most importantly, the next generation of players is watching. Kawamura isn't just a basketball player. He's redefining what's possible in the sport. But what do you think? Will Kawamura carve out a long-term role in the NBA? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll never miss out on more incredible basketball stories. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.